Did you know that in the ancient biblical text of the Book of Enoch, there are vivid descriptions of multiracial aliens called the Anunnaki? They went against God and slept with the daughters of men, and they bore great giant offspring. Enoch, who was the great-grandfather of biblical Noah, also known as the Sudra, recounts Noah being albino with blue eyes and a son of Enki, the Sumerian water god. Interestingly, the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD chose to exclude this book from the Bible due to its detailed account of encounters with alien beings known as the Anunnaki, who interacted with our ancient ancestors. Today we are going to reveal the complete historical records from the Book of Enoch and the lost Book of Enki, shedding light on this event from ancient times. Enoch, a righteous and a just man, was favored by the Lord God. Enki described a time before the first great flood. He witnessed extraordinary events such as being taken up into the sky in a burning disc or chariot, where he saw the earth as a massive sphere. In modern terms, this could be interpreted as an experience of being on a spaceship, viewing the planet Earth from beyond its atmosphere. During Enoch's time, humanity was peaceful, offering rituals and sacrifices to both their god and gods. Ritually, these gods accepted the offerings and stored them for later use. Thus, no longer need to farm or grow their own food on this planet. The humans could do it for them. Enki, a compassionate, wise but lustrous water god, was left in charge of Earth after his brother Enlil was away off planet. He held great affection for human men and also the daughters they produced. This led to him having relations with Lamech's wife, Bethanus. Lamech, the grandson of Enoch, was driven and overjoyed to hear of the birth of a son from Bethanus. Little did he know the great shock that awaited him. The following verse from the Book of Enoch 105 reads, "After a time, my son Methuselah took a wife from his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was as white as snow and as red as a rose, the hair of whose head was white like wool and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. When he opened them, he illuminated all the house like the sun. The whole house abounded with light. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, opening also his mouth, he spoke to the Lord of righteousness. Then Lamech his father was afraid of him and flying away, come to his own father Methuselah and said, I have begotten a son unto two other children. He is not human, but resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven. He is of a different nature from ours, being altogether unlike us." Enoch's depiction in this passage reveals that Noah, also known as Zizudra, possessed the distinctive trait of being an albino. He bore striking physical resemblance to some of the messengers and deities commonly referred to as the Anunnaki. This uniqueness set him apart from other humans, as the descendants of Adam had a dark skin complexion. During this time, a pivotal moment arrived when the secret transgressions of the Lord God Enoch, laying and sleeping with earth woman, were unveiled to the Anunnaki watchers, a law forbidden by their solemn oath, even by the prince of Nibiru. These Anunnaki, who toiled as laborers and watchers of men, became aware of the forbidden birth of Noah, Enki's son. The watchers, filled with feelings of envy, rebellion, and jealousy, culminated in the 200 watchers defying the orders and decrees of God, namely Anu, the father, and his son Enki. The 200 watchers, led by Simjaza, took oath to proceed with their plans to mate with human women. The following chapter 3 of the Book of Enoch reads, "And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, and in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters, and the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Shemjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, and to do this thing. They all swore together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And there were in all 200 who descended down from heaven in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon because they had swore and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it." The next following passage reads, "And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless rogue Anunnaki, who married the human women, and taught the children of men forbidden knowledge of the gods. 9 fallen Anunnaki were the heads of this rebellion against their lords. And the first was Azazel, who taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose such godliness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all of their ways. science. Shamjaza taught the enchantment and root cutting. Amorus taught the resolving of enchantments. Barakiel taught astrology. Kokabel taught the constellations. Ezekiel taught the knowledge of the clouds. Arakiel taught the signs of the earth. Shamzil taught the signs of the sun. And Sarael taught the course of the moon. And when the daughters of men became pregnant from the fallen watchers, some fatally died during childbirth. Those who survived bore giants whose heights were 3,000 ells and around 12 to 32 feet in height, and who then consumed all the acquisitions of men. In this ancient Ethiopian biblical text of Enoch, a verse mentioned these giants in Numbers 13:33, which reads, "And there we saw the giant, son of Anak, who come of the giant, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight." The Nephilim existence disrupted the natural order and brought about violence and corruption on the planet. The still royal Anunnaki informed Enki, and Enki then ordered the watchers to be captured and killed. But by this time, their offspring had already spread. The colossal Nephilim, born from the union of the Anunnaki males and earthly women, were depicted as mostly distorted giants. However, some look similar to man. Besides giant height, this new race possessed remarkable might and towering stature, akin to demigods in comparison to humans. They wielded extraordinary capabilities and gained renown for their immense power. Nevertheless, their presence brought havoc upon the harmonious balance. The sons of Anunnaki gods became enemies of man. They ravaged villages to feed their hunger, ate babies, and drank the blood of the men they murdered with little physical effort. Yet humanity concealed greater strength and ferocity than initially apparent. The sons of man waged a retaliatory struggle, culminating in the defeat of numerous mighty giants. The humans were keen, strong, intelligent, and resourceful. The battles continued until the progeny of both deities and mortals stood as adversaries in parallel, locked in conflict. It was then the cries of death from humanity and giants reached the heavens. Enki and his brother Enlil, along with the Nibiru High Council, decided that a massive flood was the only assurance to eliminate the Nephilim giants for good of the earth. They agreed that within 1 week's time, the great flood would be initiated by Lord God Enki and Lord God Enlil. However, Enki was conflicted due to his love for his earthly son Noah, known as Zizudra. That very night, in his quarters in Adam's calendar, which is the modern-day South Africa, Enki had a deep dream vision in which a mystery emissary appeared to Enki. This emissary instructed Enki to save humanity through his son Noah. Enki believed this mysterious emissary in his vision was the great creator of all, the creator that all beings in the universe must alter to. Prohibited from addressing his son directly, he approached Noah's dwelling and communicated with Noah through the house bearer, urging him to awaken and prepare for an impending cataclysmic flood sent to engulf the world in 7 days. Enki then secretly guided Noah to build a submarine-like boat to survive the impending flood and collect the preserved essential DNA samples for restarting life on Earth. The flood was triggered by a technological weapon from Nibiru's mothership, initiated by Enki and Enlil themselves. The weapon sent out a beam towards Earth's ice sheet and caused it to slip. This resulted in a massive colossal flood and thousands of earthquakes, causing widespread devastation. Noah's Anunnaki engineered boat eventually settled on Mount Salvation. Enki came to greet him, and in a wailing wind, his brother Enlil descended and discovered Enki's complicity with the oaths to the council by helping his human son survive. Enki then convinced Enlil it was destined by the creator of all, who came to him in a dream vision. Subsequently, Noah and his family survived and Earth was revived with life and biologies. The descendants of Noah then went on to rule the new land for generations to come. The story of the Watchers and the Nephilim in the Book of Enoch serve as a cautionary truth about the alien Anunnaki Watchers who were fallen angels. In Sumerian or biblical text, these otherworldly beings masqueraded as God and fought over the ownership of the earth and its inhabitants. However, in this story, we see the amazing power and resilience of mankind and how it is embedded in our genes to surpass these beings known as cosmic engineers, who are not the true creators of the universe but false gods. If you like this video, please share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.